Oh, fishing in the KZN coast has been really bad this year. Big seas, no good conditions. We've been doing a lot of scratching in the bricks, especially for bronze bream. But while targeting bronze bream, you can hook a mussel cracker, cob, kingies, grey grunter. So I'm going to take you guys through a trace that I use when I'm scratching in the bricks. It's a double hook trace using 1/0 hooks. But my hook size will be different depending on what fish are biting. If I know there's bigger fish around, then I'll go slightly bigger. So line diameters will depend on where I'm fishing, how hectic the rocks will be, if I'm throwing in the brick or over ledges. So I usually fish between a 0.50 hook snoot to about a 0.6 or 0.65 hook snoot. Okay, so you're going to need 2 3-way swivels, 2 hooks, a pair of scissors, and some mono. So the hooks that I'm using is the owner bait holder hooks. This is a size 1/0. I'm going to use these beads, these orange floating beads, to float up your bait a bit, and then you need some mono. Okay, so there's a specific knot I use to tie the hook with when I'm scratching in the bricks. So to tie it on the hook, I put the line through the eye of the hook, and so I'm basically doubling the line, as you can see. And I pull the line together like that, and I twist the line. So the reason why I don't twist the hook, because it will unravel itself. Just keep on twisting the line about 3 or 4 times, and you have that. You have like a plait. Then I make a loop with the double line, just one loop, and I take the hook and push it through that loop twice. Once, twice. And then I pull the main line tight, and then just while you're holding tension, just pull the tag in to lock the knot. Pull to see, strong enough. So here's a tip. So when I'm cutting the tag in, I don't cut it too short. I leave about a centimeter or so. The reason for this is when you're baiting up, especially a chocker blob, you pull the bait over the knot. This tag in prevents it from sliding down. So when a fish pulls, it doesn't pull the bait over the hook. Then I measure about 30 centimeters long. Cut it off. So that's one hook snoot. I'm going to do the same for the next hook. So the second hook snoot, I do the same. Hook through the eye. Twist the line about 3 to 4 times. Or make a loop with a double line. And you take the hook and push it through the loop 2 times. 1, 2. Pull the main line, and then while holding tension, you pull the tag in, just to lock the knot. Don't cut the tag in too short. There you go. You could measure the same length as the first one, but it's about 30 centimeters. You see, I'm cutting it slightly longer because I still need to tie the swivel on. So here's a trick to a 3-way swivel. So the distance between each one is different. So if you hold these two together, you can see the distance between them is small. Then you hold these two further apart, these two further apart. So we use the one that's in the middle, that's further apart from the other two. I then take a bead, run it through the line, there, and then I tie on the swivel using a figure 8 knot. So if you can notice, I'm tying it far away from the swivel. The reason for this is, so when you pull it tight, it doesn't kink the mono, it keeps it straight. You see, I'm going to tie it here. And pull the tag in a little bit. Not too tight, then it will damage the line. And you just slide, I'm not pulling, I'm just sliding the knot up towards the swivel. And once it's close, I can pull it tight. And while holding tension, pull the tag in. See, my line is fairly straight, didn't get kinked. So this you can cut the tag in fairly close. So having long tag ends on your swivels actually causes your hook snoot and your sinker line to wrap, because it has something to catch onto. That's why I'll do the exact same thing for the second hook. Just check which one to use on the 3-way swivel. That one. Just put my bead. Figure 8 knot. There you have it. So to join these two, so I'm going to use one as my bottom hook. So I'm going to see, looking at my swivel again, the one that's further apart between the two will be for my sinker. So I'll use this as my sinker one. So the sinker and the hook snoot doesn't tangle. I'll just leave this down. And I'll do the same for this. So my joining line between the two hooks doesn't tangle up. And the one that I use will be the one that's further away, so the hook snoot and that line doesn't tangle. So you see that's far, and then those two are close by. So I'll definitely be using that one. And then depending where I'm fishing, I'll usually fish a slightly thicker line between the two swivels. The reason for it, if I got a fish on the top hook or the bottom hook, that line is going to be rubbing most of the time, because it's, when you're fighting the fish. So I'll usually fish, if I'm fishing a 0.5 hook snoot, I'll make that 0.65 or even 0.7, just so that I don't get cut off too easily. So figure 8 again. So the length of this line determines is determined by where you are fishing. So if you're fishing shallower water, then your hook snoots are going to be closer together. If you're fishing quite a deep area in the high tide, then you can actually make it further apart. So I'm just going to show you one that's for the high water. It's further apart. So here I'm going to choose the one that's further away from the hook snoot. That'll be for my sinker. So that's the one there. Figure 8 again. Just cut the tag in. Okay, there you have the trace. So my sinker length is going to be slightly longer than my hook snoot, but not too close. Now I'll show you why. So the diameter of my sinker line will either be slightly thinner than this or the exact same thickness, and then you can just tie a few knots on it just to make it a bit weaker. So I'm just going to tie it using a figure 8 knot. So for the sinker I just use 2 loops because I want it to be weaker than the trace. So if I do get stuck with a fish, the sinker will break off. So slightly, I'm just going to cut it a little bit longer than I wanted. I'll show you why just now. So here's a little tip just to help you so you don't lose your sinkers every time you wind out. So I want my sinker to be somewhere around there. I'm just going to keep that, hold it where my fingers. You're going to take your sinker. Just going to cut this off. Okay. So I'm just going to double the line and make 1 loop. And then you can either go once or twice. Just pull it tight, pull the tag in. So for the sinker, you're going to cut the tag in extremely short, right next to the knot. There you have a loop. So this is a little tip so that you don't lose your sinker every time you wind out. So you're going to take this loop, push it through the eye of the sinker, and you're going to take this loop and put it over the sinker like that, and then you're going to pull slowly here, and as you can see, the line actually locks onto the base of the eye of the sinker. So the reason I do this is when your sinker is bouncing and hitting the front when you're winding out, it doesn't cut the mono, because this here will be moving. Alright, I hope these tips help you guys out. Hope you guys catch a lot of fish. Tight lines.